guys, if you have tight hips after working at a computer, a desk all day, here are 3 stretches you can try out after work. First one, we're going to be lying on your back. You want to check that there's a little bit of a space between your lower back and the floor. Then move your hands to your hips. This is the area we want to move. So find that crease that's your hip joint. Keep your hands there so you keep your awareness there. You're going to press your feet into the ground and think about your hips driving up towards the ceiling. It's like the hip joints open as you press your hips up. And then you're going to fold at the hips to lower down. So not your lower back. Let's fold at the hips. Your tailbone is going to drop down and touch the ground first. There's always a little dip in your lower back. So let's just go for 10 of these. So drive your feet into the ground, fold at the hips, tailbone drops down. If you want, you can sync in your breathing as you do this exercise, breathing in through your nose and out through your nose or mouth. This exercise will start to activate the muscles that have got a bit lazy, that you've been sitting on all day, your glutes, and it will help to open up through the hip flexors, those muscles that can get tight at the front of the hips that attach into our lower back. Last 3. So we're really an easy exercise to do after a day's work. On your last one, you might want to lift up and hold up. You can reach your hands down towards your heels for a little bit of a stretch. Even turn your palms up to open up through the front of the chest. Drive your feet into the ground, lift the hips a little higher. Fold at the hips to lower down. And then we're going to have a roll onto our side and come up into a kneeling position. You're going to have your left knee directly under your left hip and your right leg is out to the side with the big toe side of the foot touching the ground. From here, we're going to stretch our inner thigh muscles, which can be kind of hard to get into. So tuck the toes of the back foot underneath, so that back foot is propped up a little bit for you. You're going to bring your bum back towards that heel and rotate the entire right leg so that your kneecap and your toes point up towards the ceiling. Then walk your hands forward and roll that right leg so that the kneecap and the toes point straight ahead again. Rock back, bum towards the left heel, the toes and the kneecap point up. Walk the hands forward, bum lifts away from the left heel and the toes and the kneecap point straight ahead. And just rock in and out of this another 2 or 3 times. And then you simply swap over to the other side. So tuck the toes underneath like this, if you didn't see that. Your right knee stays directly under your right hip and your left leg goes out to the side. Big toe side of the foot is touching on the mat or the ground. Pop your hands down, keep the toes tucked underneath on the right foot, rock your bum back towards that right heel and rotate the left thigh and the entire leg so the kneecap and the toes point up and then rock forward. And just come in and out of this another 2 or 3 times. Last one. And then last stretch. So 3 little stretches, movements to do. And we're going to do a little bit of a stretch for the back of the hips, the muscles that can get tight deep in the back. Get your right shin parallel to the top edge of the mat and your left shin parallel to the long edge of the mat. And then from here, keep your back nice and long and straight. Don't collapse around too much. Walk your hands onto the ground. That might be enough for some people. If you want a little bit more of a stretch through the right butt cheek, walk your forearms down onto the ground. And you're here for 3 or 4 breath cycles. So think about breathing in through your nose, down deep into the back of the rib cage, back of the lungs. And as you breathe out, letting your body almost rest into the ground more. And 2 more breaths here. Bring yourself back to your hands. If you're on your forearms, press up. And let's swap over to the other side for your last stretch. Left shin along parallel to the top edge. Right shin parallel to the long edge. Nice and tall here. And you're going to hinge forward from your hips, so not from your lower back. Bring your hands onto the ground, and maybe that's enough for you. Otherwise, go down onto your forearms, and you should feel the stretch in the back of the left hip, left butt cheek. And you're here for 3 or 4 breath cycles. Breathing in through your nose and out through your nose or mouth. And trying to get that breath down deep so you feel your belly expand into your leg. Or you can feel the back of the rib cage expand. And then come back into sitting, and you're all finished your 3 hip mobility exercises for after a day at the office.